The subject of nepotism, family members working for the same organization, came to the forefront last year when video emerged of Washington County Sheriff's Office Lieutenant Eddie Graybeal, son of Sheriff Ed Graybeal, striking an arrestee. We spoke with many area sheriffs and a criminal justice professor and couldn't find a single department with a nepotism policy.
We do not have a policy on that, no, nor does the county.
No, sir, no policy.
The result is valid skepticism on citizens' part, even if real problems are few and far between, the head of Northeast State Community College's Criminal Justice Department says.
And any type of nepotism in there becomes perception, not only from the public, but also from the folks that work within that institution.
Sullivan County Sheriff Jeff Cassidy says the same can hold true in cases of hiring or promotion.
Even if they were good officers, if they did a great job, they did good on the supervisor's test, in my mind, I would think, and people around me, they would say, oh, he was just promoted because of who he is.
I think there could be issues arise if it's not watched carefully that you would have to deal with.
Stanton used to be a co-worker of Graybeal's at the Washington County Sheriff's Department.
I actually basically got hired the first time I worked at the Sheriff's Office, the same time that Lieutenant Graybeal got hired. It's a very unfortunate situation now that they're in. You know, the court will determine where we go from here. And it once again shows you that perception is that this person wouldn't have gotten this job had his father not been the sheriff. And these folks are in positions of public trust, taxpayer money, so the public is entitled to ask those questions.
Retired LAPD officer and law enforcement consultant Lou Ryder said the problem isn't limited to nepotism, given law enforcement's tight-knit fraternity.
You become a uniform family, and so as a consequence, the code of silence, and I've testified quite a bit on this, is alive and well.
Cassidy and Greene County Sheriff Wes Holt say they do what they can to mitigate the effects of relatives working in their department.
I wouldn't allow a husband to manage a wife or a brother to manage a sister. I would actually have them fall under a different chain within the administration or operation.
Nepotism's hiring a family or friends, anything like that, I'm not going to do that. That goes through the Civil Service Board. They have to take those tests. And the ones that come out on the top on the point system then are put on an eligible hiring list and are hired from that list.
That said, there are instances of relatives of one another working at both sheriff's departments.
We have husbands, wives, we have brothers and sisters, we have cousins, nephews, uncles, aunts that work here at this department.
We have great employees here that are married to each other. There's not a thing wrong with that.
And it's not saying that the relatives in the department are bad people. They may be the best officers. It's not fair for those that are employees that don't have a relative that works there, and it's not fair for the employee themselves who might have a father or mother or brother, sister, husband, wife that is over the organization, because then they're not seen for their accomplishments. They're just seen basically based on their blood relationship, and that's not fair for anybody.
In Holt's case, he and wife, Michelle, now a detective sergeant, worked at the department when they met decades ago. She stayed in her role when he was elected in 2018.
She has a chain of command, which goes when I took office. She has a lieutenant, a captain, and then the chief deputy, with the chief deputy having final say on her employment.
Despite all efforts, the people we talked to did say nepotism can have a chilling effect.
Yeah, I think you're always going to have that fear of retaliation. If I report something, and this is the sheriff's, brother, sister, is my career here going to be on the line?
Whether it's blood or just the family of blue, Lou Ryder, who conducted a major survey on nepotism a decade ago, says cases like Eddie Graybeal's don't always reach the public eye.
Well, the guy who slapped the big dude in the Sally Port there, it seems the system worked. Now, would it have worked absent the leaked video? And that's a question you have to ask.
What's the solution? Prudence only or policies?
It's my advice to departments out there is get a nepotism policy, enforce it, and stick to it.
It's just to be in a small county, you're going to hire those folks. If they meet the criteria, they pass the civil service test and stuff, then they're going to be employed here because of their qualifications. But you need to treat everybody fairly, even whether it's family or ever who, treat them fairly, treat them with respect, and deal with the issue at hand.
Policies aren't going to resolve this issue. What's going to resolve the issue is simply to hold the persons responsible for their professional employment decision making.
That's all an employee wants is fairness. You know, they don't want to see people promoted on who they are, who they know, who they're related to. They want to be promoted and reassigned on their job skills, knowledge, abilities.
In Johnson City, Jeff Keeling, News Channel 11.